Hi, my name is Reed Silverne. Name of this show is Fed Pride. Reason it's called Fed Pride is because I'm a federal worker and proud of it. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about a couple things. For you, it's probably Tuesday or the following Sunday. Of course, you wouldn't know it as the following Sunday because it'd be the Sunday that you happen to be watching. For me, because this show is live to tape, it's Friday, the 8th of June. And there's a ton of things going on, and there's a ton of things that by all rights I should be talking about. The immigration bill just failed in the Senate, which is a big deal. Libby was sentenced. He was a staffer to Vice President Cheney. He was sentenced for lying to investigators, 30 months in jail, and it's going to go before an appeal. Very big deal. There's a big story about a confrontation over the domestic spying where the Justice Department, and this is the Bush Justice Department, under Ashcroft. Ashcroft was sick. His assistant took over. I believe his name is Comey. And the assistant refused to sign off an extension to the domestic spying finding, basically killing the program. And the whole White House, Alberto Gonzales, now the President Attorney General, then the legal counsel to the President, the Chief of Staff, later on the Vice President, all went to personally, not the Vice President, personally went to the Ashcroft's hospital, woke him up while he was in intensive care, and Ashcroft refused to sign the extension, supported his guy, and the assistant to the acting secretary or attorney general, he was later forced out or refused a promotion on the orders of the vice president. All of which very interesting, extremely important. Internationally, big G8 summit with Putin and Bush. The G8, by the way, are the major economic powers in the world. U.S., of course, Bush was there. Britain, last hurrah for Tony Blair. France, first hurrah for the new president of France, Sarkozy. Italy, Prodi, I think, is the prime minister. Let's see who else. Germany, it was in Germany, so it was Angela Merkel. Russia, Putin, and Canada, I think was the 8th member. So there's this big meeting. They supposedly made an agreement about greenhouse gases. What everybody's concerned about is the new Cold War, supposedly sparked by the decision to put anti-missile missiles in Poland with the radar in check. And of course, Putin came around, turned the tables on Bush, and proposed that a Russian radar be used in Azerbaijan. I've talked about Azerbaijan in the past, being a large oil-producing or small country, but produces a lot of oil that's shuttled around Russia, but that just happens to have the Kabbalah, and that's an odd name for it. Let's go to it here. There's Azerbaijan. Okay, let's see if we can get our cursor working here. There it is. There's Azerbaijan right there over my shoulder. So he's offered to put to link a Russian radar into an American anti-missile system in order to prove that it's really aimed at Iran or North Korea, not aimed at Europe. Why? Apparently because the Aegis radar, or the very strong radar, I'm not sure it was Aegis or not, that supports the system, covers almost all of Russia and would indicate if Russia is launching any kind of missile, launch vehicles, so on and so forth. So all that's going on. But what am I going to talk about? I'm not going to talk about any of those things. I'm going to turn the world back over here, and I'm going to place Boston right over here on my shoulder. And what is happening there at MIT? Scientist who apparently is some Balkan background, either Serbian or Croatian. His name is Marin. Let me get his name over here. Soljacic, Solijacic. And Cheech, by the way, in one of those languages means son of, so it's like Vich in Russian. And this guy has developed a way to transfer energy over the air. How long? No, it's not going to power cars, electric cars. It goes a total of 7 feet, or about 2 meters, a little over 2 meters. But it is an amazing step forward. Now, I don't know how many people out there have ever heard of Nikola Tesla. Back in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, almost everybody has heard of Edison and the Wizard of Menlo Park. And Edison invented some amazing things, and eventually he became the president of Con Ed, which is the electric company still in New York City. And also, he's one of the founders of a lot of different companies, including, well, I won't go into those, but, a lot of the electric companies are called Edison, so on and so forth. He's the inventor of the incandescent light bulb, which is the vacuum light bulb that you see with kind of a curved bulb with a metal socket in the bottom that has a little element in it that lights up. He also invented direct current, or at least the way of transmitting direct current. He's the guy that invented the phonograph so that you could hear music, the ticker tape so that stocks could have been read, in the over telegraph way back then. He worked in the late 1800s, early 1900s. He also invented the movie projector and movie camera, and he invented the way to put sound on movies. So Edison did some wonderful things. He's very, very famous, and one of the reasons he's famous is he was a great promoter at the time. Electricity was the new technology that did transform the world. Not only was going to transform the world, but actually did. But the other guy who probably invented things that even more important than Edison was a guy named Nikola Tesla, an immigrant from Croatia. And he came out there, and he's the guy who invented the form of electricity transmission that we actually used, which is alternative current, AC. So Edison was DC, direct current, and Nikola Tesla was AC. Why is AC so important? Because electric motors work off of AC. And so he developed a way to actually transmit electricity over wires through alternating current, AC. But he invented a lot of other things, the fluorescent light bulb, a whole bunch of different inventions. But the thing that Tesla is also famous for the Tesla coil. Anybody who's seen the original movie Frankenstein, seen these big giant coils with electricity, giant bolts of electricity going from one coil to the other, that was Tesla. And in fact, I think I remember a story that Nikola Tesla actually was an advisor to the makers of that movie and put all that stuff together. So he loved special effects, he loved all that kind of thing. Apparently he loved magic as well. So Nikola Tesla, very, very important person, and kind of a cult figure for people who believe in what they call free energy. And there's a story that Tesla had figured out what the magnetic resonance of the entire Earth, and then he had proved that he could transmit electricity from any point in the Earth to any other point in the Earth, basically using the Earth's magnetic field by itself. Is this true? It's hard to say. He had hundreds of patents, but apparently this is either a legend or it's true. But apparently, 2007, whatever this transmission system that Tesla had that was going to be able to provide free electricity. The story is that Tesla worked with a guy named George Westinghouse. And anybody has heard of Westinghouse Electric. Westinghouse was the American company that made all kinds of labor-saving devices, dishwashers, you name it. Westinghouse is a very, very big company. I believe it's now part of GE, but I'm not absolutely sure. But this guy Westinghouse was a great businessman. And he almost went out of business, at least this is the legend. But almost all of the inventions that Westinghouse built on, transmission of electricity, transformer, the electric motor, alternating current, and everything that goes with it, it's all developed by Tesla. Tesla was a genius with electronics. He could envision any invention in his mind and then just tell people how to build it. So an amazing guy, for a long time a millionaire, eventually lost all of his money. There's a story that that Westinghouse came to him and said that he's being broken, the banks are breaking him because of the cost of the royalties for the inventions that Tesla had invented. And there was a story that Tesla just gave Westinghouse all of his patents, so long as he actually used them and developed them. And of course, the other legend is that Tesla had actually invented a way to get basically free energy out of the ground, transmitted anywhere through magnetic resonance, and that was suppressed because there was no way to charge people for it. So instead, we have crude oil fired nuclear plant or power plants, coal-fired power plants, nuclear-fired power plants, so on and so forth, and hydroelectric, and on and on and on. Of course, hydroelectric, in a sense, is free energy, although it takes a lot of labor and so on and so forth to build the dams and to produce all the turbines and so on and so forth to make it. But the energy is there in nature. So what's the story? We don't know. We don't know whether Tesla had the system. People say that it was suppressed, and nobody else came up with it. It seems like if it was there, somebody would have come up with it, at least on a small scale. But there are stories of people attending dinners at Tesla's home, Tesla going outside, taking a light bulb, sticking it into the ground, and having it light up. So, is this possible? Yes, it is possible. It turns out that in 2007, over 100 years after Tesla did most of his inventions, really 120 or 130, after he transformed the world and made us dependent on energy, especially oil and coal, that this guy in MIT has figured out how to take a magnetic coil and direct, basically, the energy to another magnetic coil 3 to 6 feet away. What is the significance of that? Significance of that is that someday there'll be one of these in every room of your house, plugged in. It'll run a magnetic induction coil, and every device, your BlackBerry, your cell phone, your laptop, every device that works on wireless, not too strong because it won't work an air conditioner or something like that, because there's only so much energy that it can take, but within 3 to 6 feet away, it will charge up the battery on all these objects, so that you won't have to go constantly run out of power on your cell phone, have to charge up the battery. An interview with Marin Solyachich said that at night he was bothered because his cell phone would lose its power, and then that little chirpy sound and the light would go on, wake him up in the middle of the night. And he said to himself, wouldn't it be great if this darn cell phone would charge itself? And so he decided to work on that. And what he did is he developed a induction coil. Now I have a picture of this. So what I'm going to do, okay, hopefully I have it over here. It's not working. There it is. And let's see. Oh, it's over my shoulder. Okay, this is pretty good. So he developed an induction coil, and basically these are capacitors over here, and here is a coil. And because of the capacitance on these capacitors over here, and the number of winds in the coil, a coil, anybody who's taken, electronics 101, knows that if there's a current that's put through it, it produces a magnetic field. This is just, standard electronics. So what happens if you have another coil that's very, very close by, and there are already some machines that work that, but it has to be right next to it. I don't know where they had a picture in one place of a electric toothbrush. Let's see if we can find it. No, they don't have it on this particular one. An electric toothbrush works this way. Basically, if you have a coil that's within the magnetic field, that's right next to it, it'll pick up the electricity and the current will go through this other coil. The reason they use that system for electric toothbrushes is that in an electric toothbrush, water gets in there. And if you plug it into a 110 volt plug, you're going to electrocute yourself. So what they do is in the bottom, they have the charger, and that has one of these induction coils, and then right at the bottom of the electric toothbrush is another induction coil and a battery, and the battery is instantly charged up as long as you keep it in that thing. Well, what this guy has done is he has discovered, and it's a discovery that apparently Tesla talked about 120 years ago, that there is a magnetic resonance that occurs that's a function of the amount of power going through the magnetic field and the capacitance. And it can be, it's just like if a singer sings a certain note really, really loud, and that note is the note that if you take your finger and you run it over the top of a crystal glass, that's the note that the glass will make. It will shake and shake and shake until it shakes itself apart and blows up. And of course, everybody's heard the urban legend about the opera singer that can blow up the crystal. Well, this works the same way. Basically, this induction coil over here has a certain magnetic resonance, and anything within 2 meters, let's see if I can get this to actually appear, anything within 2 meters will, as long as it has the same induction coil with the same exact magnetic resonance, will pick up the energy even though it's not right next to it. The great thing is that anything like a human body walking by, and as you know, and I don't know whether you know that, but our nerves actually have, or at least the space between the nerves, they call them the synapses, actually send an electronic pulse to the next nerve. And that, of course, that's how pacemakers work and so on and so forth. So we're full of electricity. However, we're probably not at that magnetic resonance. Of course, anything that's electric, anything that has an electric current also has magnetic resonance. There's also a magnetic field that's created by it, because that's why they call it electromagnetic energy. So these have exactly the same resonance. As long as they have the same resonance, they're within 2 meters, which is 7 feet. It will actually pick up the energy of an electric current will flow through, even though it's not right next to it, and charge the battery in any object that's has the same induction coil. Now that to me is pretty amazing, because you can take one of these, put it in every room of your house, and then you basically won't need plugs anywhere in the house. Plus, on top of that, as long as you're there, you are charging up the battery in all of your wireless devices, in your laptop, in your cell phone, and so on and so forth. The question is, can we use this to actually transmit energy throughout the world? 1 second, I'm going to look away for a second. And speaking of the world, I've just brought it back up. Now, the legend is that I'm going to do the traditional spin of the world. The legend is that Tesla had actually, he had developed these induction coils with magnetic resonance, and he had actually found the magnetic resonance of the Earth. Now, the Earth itself, and I'm going to spin it just to give you an example, is actually a big giant magnet. Inside the Earth, and the whole core of the Earth, is molten iron. And oddly enough, I guess there's a little area in deep inside which is solid, and then there's a molten around it, so that this molten iron actually spins as the Earth is turning. And what does that do? What that does is it creates a giant magnetic field that comes up the poles and goes completely around the Earth, although that field is everywhere on the Earth, and anybody who wants to can just buy themselves a compass and look at it. Compass will point toward magnetic north. Magnetic north is where the Earth's magnetic field is actually bursting out. Those of you, and I don't know if anybody's around there who ever lived in the far northwest or northeast or has gone to Alaska, there's a condition when the sunspots are going and there's a solar flare where there is an aurora. And you can actually see, and I saw this once in Pennsylvania of all places, a glow in the sky, green and red and orange and yellow, and it kind of shimmers in and out, although it wasn't strong where I saw it because I was kind of far south. But apparently, the farther you go toward the poles, the stronger it is. You can see the aurora borealis, and the aurora is actually the magnetic field of the Earth interacting with the solar flares that are going by and actually lighting up ions in the outer atmosphere. So that's what an aurora is. So the Earth has this incredible magnetic field, and supposedly, anytime you have a magnetic field, you're moving through it, especially with a induction coil, you should be able to get energy out of it. And that is what Tesla was trying to do, and he claimed to have accomplished this mission. And of course, we don't use that now. We don't know whether it's in existence or not, but the fact that they've proven that it can work within 2 meters for 2 objects with the same magnetic resonance is kind of an indicator that these legends may be true. Tesla was a genius, and that he may have been able to actually pull energy and create an electric current just out of the ground. I don't know if it's true. If it is, I hope that there's scientists all over the world that are trying to figure out what is the magnetic resonance of the Earth itself and try to repeat this experiment that supposedly Tesla had not only done, but successfully done, and it apparently had prototypes that would actually transmit free energy. Now, is there free energy? That's kind of a wacky thing. Everybody says, oh, no, especially the oil companies. I don't know whether there's free energy or not, and whether Tesla found it, but it's certainly, this is an indicator that it's certainly worth taking a look at. My name is Reed Silverne. The name of the show is Fed Pride. The reason it's called Fed Pride because I'm a federal worker and proud of it. And you'll see me if you want to on Tuesday or Sunday.